the harvest.
Welcome, dear listeners from all across the continent. Starting with Algeria, where the third and final day of the African Startup Conference is underway. The agenda today stretches from high-level government dialogues to major sector-focused events, including a flagship Forum on Agriculture Investment. Our reporter on site, Emmanuel, is on site with a summary of the key developments shaping this closing day. Hello, Iman. You are still at the CIC. How is the conference going today?
Hello, Amira, and greetings to you all, dear listeners. I'm once again reporting from the CIC at the International Convention Center on this third and final day of the African Startup Conference, where activities expanded this morning to include an international forum on agriculture investment led by the Minister of Agriculture, Yassine Al-Mahdi Walid. The event brought together major investors, agri-tech companies, and experts to present Algeria's agricultural vision for 2030 and highlight opportunities for innovation and technology transfer. Now at the CIC, the champions the government summit, government leaders and innovators for high-level dialogue on strengthening Africa's innovation policies. The afternoon, however, featured bilateral meetings between African delegations, followed by extensive media tour of the African Startup Pavilion. Now the day is going to conclude later this evening with the official closing ceremony, presenting key outcomes and final statements from regional leaders. That's all I have to report for now, Amira, and back to you to the studio.
Thank you, Iman, for all these details. The African Startup Conference highlighted by the adoption of two major Algiers declarations paving the way for deeper digital cooperation across Africa. One focuses on regulating digital platforms and promoting data sovereignty and responsible AI, while the other sets a common roadmap to boost innovation, startup financing and regional tech champions. Welcoming Algeria's leadership, Uganda voices its support as ICT State Minister Kapyanga Paluku speaks to Emmanuel on the sideline of ISC 2025. Let's listen.
We are happy that Algeria is again taking the lead as an African country that is championing financing and mentoring and incubating startups. And they have really pushed in a lot of money, and we are here as Africa to learn from them, to benchmark from them, and to get inertia from them on how we can really promote, how we can incubate, and how we can support startups. And we are happy to be here.
The momentum from the Algiers declarations doesn't stop with policy announcements. For Uganda and the African nations attending African Startup Conference, the summit represents a unique opportunity to unify efforts across the continent and amplify Africa's voice in the rapidly evolving digital economy. Speaking with Emmanuel, Kapyanga Paluku, Uganda's Minister of State for ICT and Innovation, reflects on this broader vision, highlighting not just Algeria's leadership, but the collective potential of African nations working together. Let's listen again.
We are happy that Algeria has brought together all African continents to see how we can unite, we can move together, and we can have a voice in the digital world. And this is very wonderful. We have just signed two declarations here today, and one on startups and then another one on funding. And we feel really these two declarations are very, very important.
At this important event, Rwanda takes center stage as guest of honor, confirming its rise as one of Africa's most dynamic tech hubs. With a fast-growing startup ecosystem, increasing investor confidence and bold innovation, Rwanda is now standing alongside the continent's leading innovation powers, helping shape Africa's digital future. Yasmin Ashor for more. Africa's startup scene is often led by Nigeria, Kenya, South Africa and Egypt, but this year Rwanda takes the spotlight as the guest of honor at African startups, raising fast and proving it has a real place in this space. The country now has more than 55 funded startups, over 80 investment deals and a total funding amount over $1 billion. One major highlight is a $330 million single funding round, which shows how much trust investors have in Rwanda's technology future. This strong growth comes from Rwanda's supportive government, simple digital laws and active innovation programs that help young companies grow. Kigali is becoming a friendly place for entrepreneurs who want to build new ideas and test them. With this momentum, Rwanda is shaping one of the fastest growing startups environment in Africa. Turning now to security matters, in Benin, President Patrice Talon said on Sunday evening that control of the country had been fully restored following an attempted mutiny earlier in the day, warning that those responsible would face consequences. Let's listen to Patrice Talon.
Béninoises, Béninois, mes chers compatriotes.
Benin's women and men, my dear compatriots, I am addressing you this evening because of our country has experienced events of extreme gravity today. Indeed, a small group of soldiers, under the pretext of false claims, undertook a mutiny aimed at attacking the institutions of the Republic and destabilizing our nation, thereby challenging the democratic order. Such an undertaking would have had the consequence of plunging our country into a reckless adventure with disastrous outcomes. It would have halted the development process initiated by our country owing to the efforts of all its daughters and sons. In such circumstances, my Republican duty in my capacity as President of the Republic, Supreme Commander of the Armed Forces, and guarantor of the country's stability, requires me to take the appropriate measures to thwart the actions of intruders wishing to return us to a past of sad memory.
In other news, ECOWAS ordered the deployment of a regional standby force to Benin following the attempted coup. Troops from Nigeria, Sierra Leone, Ivory Coast and Ghana will take part, the bloc announced. In DRC, 330 Congolese refugees have returned to their homes after fighting east in Kamanyola, South Kivu. Their return follows a week after Rwanda took in around 1,100 people escaping the same violence. Clashes, however, continue in other areas of South Kivu. In political news, Alassane Ouattara is sworn in as president of Côte d'Ivoire following his victory in last October's elections. The 9th Pan-African Congress opened today in Lomé, organized with the African Union. The gathering focuses on revitalizing Pan-Africanism and Africa's role in reforming multilateral institutions. In sport, in the African 3-on-3 basketball championship held in Madagascar, the Malagasy national team secured the titles in both the men's and women's categories. Defeating Egypt in the finals, Rwanda finished third while Algeria placed fourth. Meanwhile, in club basketball, the group stage matches of the 29th edition of the Women's African Club Cup are ongoing in Egypt with 12 teams participating. With that, we conclude this evening news. Thank you for your attention.